So I actually had a dream about doing this podcast last night, and I don't know if that's a good omen or a bad omen. Cause
was it good, or do you not remember anything that you talked about?
I don't remember anything we talked about, but like my emotions during the dream were high and like good energy.
Like, this is good. All right, dope. Okay.
So hopefully that bodes
Let's take
well.
that energy right into this. Yeah.
Welcome back to Two Idiots Talk. Thank you for going along with our hiatus. I think we've been gone for like a month?
4 weeks, yeah. The election and then topic discrepancies, and Nate mentioned in the video about the hiatus we might be coming back with Mason stuff. We're not doing that, as the title probably tells you.
Yeah, we're not doing Freemasons. Although what we are talking about is a little bit tangentially related, I guess, in some areas.
Kind of secret society, and I mean, I guess their definition of secret society.
Yeah, but I don't know. This is kind of like, I guess we could call this a semi-sequel to the Spirit Science video, because there's so many like.
It's kind of a semi-sequel to all of our episodes.
Yeah, this is like
because all of the stuff we've been talking about has been so connected.
This is like a half-season retrospective.
Yeah, exactly.
But like this topic is like so dialectical, I feel, and like we didn't give ourselves any time restraints really. So this is gonna be like all of history for this topic, at least what I looked at.
Yeah, it's in this episode itself, because of all of that, is probably going to be more disjointed and longer than usual. Who knows? We'll see how this goes. This is definitely going to be a two idiots fucking talk this episode. So
yeah, we're really digging our claws into our theme of just like fucking looking at everything we can on one broad topic and then just spouting our little idiot mouths all over it. spewing our opinions all over this subject.
Spouting our dirty little idiot mouths all over it.
And like, I kind of just want to like preface as well, like some of the people that I researched for this are disgusting humans.
Yes.
And if I come off while talking about them as disgusted, it's because I am. It's because I am disgusted. I'm not going to try to hide it.
And one of our favorites is back, everybody. I don't know if you remember us mentioning her briefly, but Madam fucking Blavatsky is in this topic too. She's got her dirty little fingers and everything.
Yeah. And like when you were talking about her during the Spirit Science episode, I was just like, oh yeah, she's like a theosophy person, whatever. She did like, but she's fucking huge. She's like a huge part of this shit. And it's disturbing, and she cropped up in literally every part of research that I did, like whether it was videos or like articles, even Wikipedia entries, but we're
everywhere. And if it tells you anything about her prominence, she helped influence some of the top Nazi regime.
Yeah. And
like a literal Nazi regime.
We should just tell them what we're going to talk about, because we've kind of jumped around a little bit.
Yeah, occultism in the Nazis and in the neo-Nazi movements. I feel like we're probably going to be jumping around from both just talking about occultism in Nazi mentalities and then also our personal feelings on the pipeline from kind of being into occultism or paganism leading possibly to fascistic mentalities. Not that it will. You can be pagan, you can be into a cult without being a fucking fascist.
Right.
We're not saying that, but there's some unfortunate tangential like ideas and like traditions and mentalities that go along with both of them, and it's a little weird.
Yeah. So Will and I noticed this, and we were like, hey, magic is cool, but fascism is not cool. Why are they so related, it seems, in like the last 100 years or so? So we kind of want to get into that. I did my like preliminary research on this author who is actually the former bassist of a rock band Blondie by the name of Gary Lockman. And
Okay.
he's been writing books on like occultism for I think the past decade. But I watched an interview he did with some Russian kid on YouTube talking about his newest book from 2018, Dark Star Riding, Magic and Power in the Age of Trump.
What a fucking title.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I can talk about that right now, unless you have like a better place to start chronologically.
Should we start on some more modern stuff, or should we get a little bit into maybe the origins of like occultism in Nazis' version of fascism?
Let's do a little more chronologically, just to like set the stage better.
So, as everybody knows, or at least, you know, I think everybody. I don't know. I don't know if anybody cares. I don't know if anybody else cares about this stuff aside from people like us.
Broad
but
sweeping statements.
Nazis were into the occult stuff.
Yeah, broad sweeping statements are okay.
I want to generalize about everybody, yeah. So the Nazis were into the occult, and this influenced a lot of their thinking about the world and even their military strategy. Do you know more about Blavatsky and the Thule Society? So do you want to take a little bit of that, and then I can go over a little bit of some of the Nazis like actual like usage?
Okay. So I didn't do like a really deep dive because I didn't want to. Just gonna lay that on the table of Blavatsky, but her
That's
name
fine.
just kept creeping up everywhere. Helena Blavatsky was like a late 1800s, early 1900s theosopher, and she basically popularized the theory, or a theory that blended European and esoteric beliefs with Eastern cosmology. And I think we'll get more into that later because I think Buddhism is gonna creep up into what we're going to talk about.
Maybe somewhere, yeah.
And she was inspired by, from my sources at least, she was inspired by race science, yikes, and eugenics, bigger yikes.
Yikes.
And with those inspirations, she like crafted cosmological models of like the origin of humans and the races of our species.
Yeah, it's this mentality of what I read as being called the spiritual evolution of man, in the very literal and figurative way. Like, who knows what these types of people think about actual scientific evolution, but their main mode of thinking is they take these spiritual leaders who claim to have visions, and then they use that as the secret history of the world, that we came from, as we mentioned in the Spirit Science video, Atlantis. We came from master races. There's fucking 5 or 6 root races. The Aryans were the supreme ones. And you can link yourself to these master races and define your superiority based on that. So no wonder people in Nazi Germany after World War I who felt, you know, weakened and powerless, they wanted to attach themselves to this. And these people were already like this at this time frame, even in America, people were like into like magic and stuff. People believed more about magic than we do nowadays.
Right.
So,
and I don't know if I already said, but like her inspirations of race science and all that, and like the race hierarchies, was at the time in Europe acceptable. Like, it wasn't taboo to talk about this stuff. Like, most white people were on board with this.
Right. Because people were racist way more than now.
And she was kind of either the aggregator or initiator of the mythical hierarchy of races that Will was just talking about. And in this hierarchy, the Aryans were deemed the superior of spirit, and the Semitic were deemed the degenerate of spirit. And that was kind of her model.
The Aryans, was it the Aryans were the spiritual or the intellectual leaders, and the Indians, which are related to Aryans, if you want to get into that old arcane naming method.
Yeah, that was
which
the
were
other
related
thing.
to Aryans, were the spiritual leaders or something like that. But a lot of the times, which is really weird, while I was reading this, there was this mention of like the old usages of like Aryan people and like Anglo-Saxon and all this stuff. And Aryan used to mean like Eastern, not Eastern European, but like parts of Europe, and then like India and parts of the Middle East.
Yeah, Indo-European or whatever. Yeah.
Right, Indo-European and stuff. Even like Nazi people like reference this, that Indians are related to them. But then clearly if you go into like the mentality of actual Nazis, they hate brown people. So they hate Middle Easterners and Indians
What is it?
a lot, even though they claim that they're the same. I don't understand these people.
Wait, what is it that Hitler was? He was like the Volkish or Volkish.
Volkish.
Yeah,
Yeah. I wrote something about this. Hold on. Let me try to
That
find
was like trying to explain that
down.
you could be of like a different race physically, but some more superior race spiritually, which like tried to justify the persecuting of someone who was Jewish spiritually. Like if someone appeared physically Aryan, but their spirit was Jewish, then you could still justify persecuting them.
Well, it's the one drop racism, just like we had in America, where you're not white if you look white, but you have a black person in your ancestry.
Yeah.
Whereas racism now, it's watered down. It's bad. It's fucking horrible, but it's like watered down compared to before, where it's like you just need to look white and we're fine.
Yeah.
Just like Irish used to be considered non-white, and now they are white. You just got to look white.
Yeah. So
but before it was one drop rule, and the same with the Nazis.
Yeah.
I can read something real quick about the Volkish for the listeners, though.
Okay.
Quote, this is from an article that I'll link in the description. Let me get the title real quick. The Magical Thinking of the Far Right. And
I read that too.
It says, quote, people who adopt the view that religion is an expression of a collective racial unconscious are called Volkish pagans. People who adopt the view that the gods are open to all are universalists. And you may have seen universalist churches around.
And there's also tribalist
Cleveland, if you're from this area. Oh, I guess you're not. But
there's also the tribalist form of thinking too, which is
right.
Still racist in my book.
Oh, yeah. People who adopt the view that they are proud of their own, generally white European heritage, but also able to respect the heritage of others, are in the middle and are known as tribalists.
Yeah.
Granted, I'd say they're all weird, but I'm not a pagan.
So last thing really about Blavatsky before she creeps up into other areas, because she definitely will, is that she influenced the Thule Society, which I think we also mentioned in the Spirit Science video. But the Thule Society believes that there's like this island of Aryans that disappeared or something, and they're trying to bring it back and like resurrect it. And then they, from the Thule Society, took the anti-Semitic tendencies from her models and like ran with it and started a fascist revolution. Because the main members of the Thule Society were Hitler, Himmler, and Ernest Haeckel, all bad people.
I read that Hitler actually wasn't a part of the Thule Society.
He left.
Or maybe I'm thinking of a different organization. Yeah, there was it was mostly Himmler. Himmler was the big occult person. And just for some historical context, so the Thule Society, I believe, was located in Germany.
Yeah.
And had in 1918 local newspapers that were meant to circulate its ideas.
Yep.
And eventually turned into just a fascist, newspaper. But they specifically were trying to undermine Bavaria, which had a communist revolution, apparently, that I've never fucking knew about.
Yeah, and I didn't either.
Germany, part of Germany, Munich, went through a communist revolution and had a communist government, like a literal communist government. And
that's pretty cool.
Part of the Thule Society was trying to undermine. It was pretty cool. But it was trying to undermine this. Apparently they
with their propaganda
succeeded,
with their occultist propaganda,
right? And they were called that one of their newspapers, or later became known as the Volkish Observer, so they called themselves Volkish.
So this kind of leads into what we see in modern esoteric fascism, in groups like the Order of the Nine Angles.
Ooh, I didn't know about that.
They're like an offshoot pre-Christian occult group from like Aleister Crowley's teachings.
Crowley,
and they also believed in like
Aleister Crowley.
He's like a huge occult guy. I listened to like a 5-part podcast on him, and like literally his whole life is insane. Like,
yeah,
he was so into the occult and stuff, but was like never successful. But Ozzy Osbourne like wrote the song Mr. Crowley and whatever, or apparently it's pronounced Crowley. But anyway, the Order of the Nine Angles separates human history into aeons, in which each human race from the Blavatsky model was in power. And
just straight up from Blavatsky.
Yeah, and modern esoteric fascism believes that the current time is the time for the Aryans to take power.
Right.
That's why they're so crazy.
Wasn't that part of the spirit science episode? Didn't I mention that, where it's like, now is the time for the Aryans, and we were like, oh, that's fascist, and little did we know.
Yeah. They also believe in like physical manifestations and chaos magic from like sigils, and this kind of broke off even more from the Order of the Nine Angles into kind of what Richard Spencer believes is the guy who got punched on TV, who's like a alt-right leader in modern times. But they like fully embraced this meme magic with the Pepe the Frog shit.
Yeah, and the OK
and like
symbol.
Believed that spreading the image online in all their different circles would, one, garner them more attention and more membership, and two,
kind of worked.
Like physically manifest through chaos magic the synchronicities that led to Donald Trump's election.
Yeah.
Because they think he is an alt-right fascist. If you that's like a victory for them.
Oh yeah. Oh fucking yeah. To me, when I hear this kind of thing, when I hear like chaos magic and like, so chaos and it helps our cause, to me that kind of contextualizes some of this like pipeline thing, because you get these fucking memers online. You get these 4chan folk who love to be trolls and love to piss people off and love chaotic energy, whether you mean literal or not. And oftentimes you can radicalize from these communities into Nazism or into fascism or whatever, into white supremacy. And when you're talking to these people, from my experience of people on the alt-right, whether they're into the occult or not, they really like sowing doubt. They really like disruption. They really like dismantling trust in society. And I could see how that could easily lead to somebody telling you like, yes, like this it's all about the chaotic energy. If you really think about it, this is how we win. I wonder why. It's this chaotic energy rewarding us. And it's like, it leads you into these weird ideas that you're being driven by mysticism and a perfect race and a secret history of the human race.
And like also, along with liking chaos, they also dislike structure, dogma, postmodernism, all of the things that are current in society, and like pushing people away also just pushes them into the alt-right circles.
Yes.
Of like truth, essentially.
Well, they feel isolated and they want community, and then they find it in the fucking fascists.
I don't know. I didn't look for this. It was just in a video I watched on this subject. But a lot of the gatherings that I saw, or like pictures of gatherings of the alt-right currently in modern times, are just full of people putting out these symbols that are like openly tied to fascism and occultism.
Yeah. They
have like the symbol of the black sun. They have like the 9 angles even in certain severe cases.
Look up the 9 angles. What is the 9 angles? Never heard of that.
But that like just.
Oh right. Okay. See, this kind of shit pisses me off because I'm not into the occult, but I like the aesthetic.
Thanks, Will. Glad you're not into the occult before agreeing to do this episode.
Well, no. What I mean by that is I'm not an occultist. I'm not a pagan. I don't believe in the stuff.
Right.
It's cool and I'm into it. Yeah, you fucker, undermining me. But like I'm into the aesthetic because I'm a poser, and I'm into the satanic aesthetic, and I'm even getting a fucking satanic tattoo. I'm getting a fucking goat head on my back, biting a snake.
Well, these guys are like the evil Satanists.
Exactly, but then they take this shit, the satanic symbols that I can't use now. Because then it'll look like I'm a Nazi.
They're taking my culture.
Well, yeah, my culture. Yeah, sure. But it also sucks because I'm bald. I shave my head. So if if I use these symbols, I just look like a Nazi. Like my only redeeming quality to make me not look like a Nazi is I have clear glasses and a mustache and like flower tattoos, and I smile a lot and I'm very nice. That's the only redeeming quality to make me not look like a fucking skinhead. And they'd steal all of these things from me.
Also, you're very vocal about being anti-racist and anti-capitalist.
All right. Anyway, I'm sorry for the tangent.
Oh my God, I'm reading now on the Order of the Nine Angles Wikipedia that they were advocated violence, militancy in aid of the neo-Nazi cause and cited as an influence on the nail bomber of by the name of David Copeland.
Wait,
yeah,
David Copeland? Hold on.
I'm not going to go too deep into the Order of the Nine Angles. We could probably just do a whole episode on just them if we were a more concerned podcast.
Is this David Copeland related to televangelist Kenneth Copeland? Is that his name? Is that his name? Or who's the Copeland?
Yeah,
who's the Copeland fucking
familiar.
televangelist that did the "Now breathe COVID away"? Is that him?
Yeah, I also kind of wanted to talk about the televangelists because they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, Kenneth Copeland, the fucking waxy, sweaty mannequin who's a fucking demon in human skin.
Isn't he the billionaire guy?
He's the billionaire with the plane. Yeah. He was the guy who laughed for a minute straight, and he was like, "And they said Biden won." And then he starts laughing.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha. Oh my God, that was utterly terrifying. Yeah, a lot of televangelists too cater to the alt-right. I feel like that's not that far off from being occultists and catering to the alt-right.
Oh yeah.
Or vice versa. Just like giving them something to attach to that is mystical and post-truth, you know?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's anti-intellectualism. It's don't trust the experts in anything. It's not even anti-authority. We're anti-authority.
Yeah.
But it's anti-expert. It's like it's looking at people who have fucking trained and studied for this and being like, I don't trust you simply because I don't like what you're saying.
Right.
And then you get into shit like fucking anti-vaxxers and like fucking people, Trump supporters denying the election.
Which is what I kind of meant about all this stuff being dialectical, because you can't really talk about this and like not believing in truth, being like anti-truth and anti-intellectual, as you were saying, without making the connection to being flat earth, being anti-vax, being like anti-moon, like they're all related because these people are so removed, whether it's by their own doings or because they were roped into it or convinced that they're alone, into believing in all of these mystical things. Like that was kind of something that Gary Lockman was talking about when he was talking about his book, because he argued that people within the right are turning to magic because they want to break the constraints from reality, because those constraints don't help them. They want to like have this idea interface where they can exchange crazy ideas and not come off as crazy.
Yeah.
It helps their cause, essentially.
It's fucking dangerous to allow it and put it under the guise of the First Amendment. And it's like, no, if somebody it's just like we don't accept people screaming fire or rape in public places. Like, that's dangerous.
Right.
We have to censor some things. Clearly we need obstacles to overstepping bounds and just censoring everything you don't like. But maybe the Nazis saying that the earth is flat, or Nazis saying that they're the superior race, or saying that Trump is a fucking messianic figure, like, maybe
or that astrology
that's
is
a little
real.
dangerous. That's a whole other goddamn subject. Here, real quick, I wanna mention a couple things that the Nazis did, just in case people need some context for how fucking, even beyond their absolute vile, evil fucking everything, they were dumb. They were just stupid. So they were really into the occult.
Real go get them.
I'm just going to list off a couple things that they attempted to do. So are you familiar with what dowsing is?
Yeah.
Where you
take
can
like a pendulum.
So there's like the dowsing rods, and then there's the dowsing pendulum method, where you like feel the natural life radiation of something.
Vibrations.
So normal dowsing, like rod dowsing, looking for water, is you walk around with these two sticks, and when they move together, you found water. And it's like supposedly sensing radiation
it supposedly
emanating
works
from
for ghosts too. You
Exactly.
can do it with ghosts.
And it's always this vague radiation. Nobody ever actually like, there's radiation.
It's ectoplasm, dude.
But that's better than pendulum dowsing, like secondary dowsing, because this is like in person, like what's in front of you. the method the Nazis used they would lay out a map of enemy territory and
when they were looking for
swing a pendulum over it. And when the pendulum would stop vibrating, it was sensing radiation emanating from a ship that was somehow channeled through a map into the pendulum.
Just a secondary reproduction of the world.
Yeah. And then they tried using astrologists to find where Mussolini was after his arrest. They believed in ley lines.
You just glossed over the fact that they hired several people who didn't even like the Nazis. They just kidnapped them, essentially, made them douse for days on end. Made them stand there and douse for days.
For hours. Oh, yeah, you're right. Holy fuck. Yeah, literally. They would, like, force them to just stand there for hours and hours, not moving a muscle.
And it never worked. It never worked one time.
And the astrologists couldn't find Mussolini. See, that's both the dousers and the astrologists, they either kidnapped or they took, oh my God, they took Jewish people from the camps even. They took Jewish people from their camps who were like known like astrologers or, dousers, and they forced them to do this. They were so fucking crazy that they took the people they were trying to murder from the camps to go work for that. Like,
I'm shaking my head right now.
It blows my mind. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. What else did they do?
Oh, no, you weren't interrupting me. I'm glad you reminded me of that.
Yeah.
They also believed in ley lines.
It never worked.
Just energy lines of the earth, fucking also shit that was in the Spirit Science video. They were big alternative medicine people. And hey, I'm down for if there's a natural remedy for something, fucking awesome. I don't want to take drugs. I don't want to take pharmaceuticals. But crystals aren't going to heal cancer. Dieting isn't going to fucking save your life. This shit
Give me
doesn't
that ayahuasca.
Work. Yeah, well, hey, ayahuasca has its own benefits, but they're psychological, not fucking making tumors go away. Okay, and
that's
then,
the Church of Science, or what is it called? There's a modern thing called the Jesus Church of Science or something like that.
Dude, there's one right down the street from me. Seriously. Yeah. It's
and they
fucking
don't
hilarious.
Believe in modern medicine. They don't believe in it.
They don't let their practitioners, their congregation, if one of their congregation gets medicine, medicine from a doctor, they're fucking exiled. It's fucking insane, dude. That's worse than speaking in tongues.
Holy rollers. It's the holy rollers all over.
Goddamn. And then, of course, they did the obligatory drugging their soldiers to try to turn them into super soldiers that we all know about. That was a real thing. If you thought that was just a movie thing, no, they actually did that. And then real quick,
and they also it was not just a movie thing. They also did experiments on captives,
oh god, yeah,
gross
they didn't think of them as human. Of course, they did
that.
Yeah.
We got too excited. We're too excitable with this topic. There's too much going on.
Yeah. This is definitely interesting.
I'll try to rope it back to, or bring it back around to my occultist politics centrist writer, Gary Lockman, because
also the Nazis promoted yoga with their soldiers, by the way. But anyway.
Yeah, but that was just a way to brainwash the youth. Come on, Will.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So sorry. I keep remembering things.
Hitler
saw the
Gary.
northern.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say?
Hitler was watching the Northern Lights and took them as a premonition that he should invade Poland.
Yo, man, what?
Yeah.
And they also
that's not the most crazy thing, but it's just funny that it's just this mentality of just fucking everything fucking justifies everything.
Anything post-truth. I think I mentioned in a previous podcast that Hitler employed full-time the top astrologer in Germany or whatever. One of his top advisors was just an astrologer who just gave him astrological advice. There was a video that you sent to me about this guy talking about the origins of Buddhism or whatever. And he mentioned the Nazi bell. He was like, there was also this Nazi bell that like apparently enabled them to time travel or travel through space, and it was called a bell.
God.
That was so supernatural and cool, and like they were Buddhist for it, whatever.
He also said our Atlantean history. Oh boy, where was that? Where did I wrote that something. Where the fuck did I write that? I can't find it anymore.
He was grasping at straws, bro.
He literally said, he mentioned Atlantis. He talked about the root races, the master races. He said the Aryans were a master race.
This guy was Asian, by the way.
I believe he said he was Japanese, and he mentioned the Aryans as if he was associating himself with that, which Aryan does not include Eastern Asian ethnicities. But then he said, there's a lot of evidence that Buddha was a Nord. He was a Nordic, and that Buddhism was actually Christian. Like, people believe that Christians came to the East and made Buddhism.
Huh? But Christianity is the youngest religion. Right?
Islam's the biggest, youngest religion.
Oh,
but
yeah. Didn't Buddhism originate before Christianity?
I'm pretty sure it was around the same time. I don't know, honestly. I'm very ignorant on that. But as far as I'm aware, because I am like sort of into Buddhism, like the mindfulness idea of it, not really the spiritual ideas of it. As far as I'm aware, the experts think that Buddhism influenced Christianity, not the other way around. But this guy was just fucking insane. And then I'm just like watching this, and I send it to Nate, and I'm watching on double speak because this guy talks so slow. And then I'm just like, okay, just half listening, and then he just goes, oh, blah, 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 the Negroid race, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa!
He was using those Volkish arguments. Wolkish.
Yeah.
How are they? Like, after watching that video and then reading the article about the wolf. How do you fucking say it?
Folkish. Folkish, I believe, would be the German pronunciation, but yeah,
okay.
Volkish.
But yeah, it was like all the same shit that the Volkish believed. Anyway, sorry about that tangent. Let's get into it with Gary Lockman now.
Yes.
Take it slow. Take it a little slow. Dark Star Rising Magic and the Power of in the Age of Trump. But the funniest part about this interview was that I feel like the interviewer, the Russian kid, who's probably our age, honestly, and Gary Lockman, I don't know, he's probably like mid-50s, literally just kept talking without being asked anything about literally anything and everything related to like modern politics and the occult, which was super interesting. But basically the point of his book from 2018 was to relate Trump and all of Trump's circle, Steve Bannon, whoever else is near and dear to Trump, to occultism. And he also like had criticisms of progressive occultism, which we kind of talked about before. Like
progressive occultism or progressive
like New Age paganism or
fascism. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. He was also like arguing that the ideas of magic and occultism are kind of interchangeable with the ideas of postmodernism, because like postmodernism he equated to post-truth. And
what?
He lost me. I was like, I don't think that's true, because postmodernism...
Wait, how old is this guy? Because that's some boomer ass shit. I'm sorry. I don't know if everybody knows. Nate and I are both like 23, 24.
I just turned 25. I'm old.
Just turned 25. Okay, I'm 23.
He's 64.
He's 64. That's some boomer ass shit. That's some Jordan B. Peterson ass shit.
He loves Jordan Peterson, dude.
I bet, because that's some Jordan Peterson ass shit. Nobody understands what postmodernism is. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was like, Peterson actually is really cool. And like he apologized for him being associated with the alt-right. He was like, yeah, people just don't understand Jordan. Like, he's actually preaching against the alt-right. Christ. This guy, he dropped out of a university. This was another big like, red flag for me, Gary Lockman. He dropped out of a university that he was going to get a literature degree because it had moved too far left. I don't know what year this was, but he was like, yeah, I won't be taken seriously because this university is too far left.
I'm moving my kids out of New York because the schools are too far left.
But he agrees with Peterson's takes that humans are not blank slates in terms of like nature, but human nature is limited, he thought. And it's not fixed. So he was really wishy-washy and like not locking in.
What does that even mean?
I don't fucking know. I just wanted to talk about how Jordan Peterson is also related to this in a way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please. I love talking about Jordan Peterson.
Oh no, like that whole thing. Like Gary Lockman being a fan of the occult and also Jordan Peterson.
Hey, fuck JBP. Fuck that guy. He is so awful. And fuck his daughter too. God, they're so fucking dumb. They're just grifters. Anyway, that's not. Yeah.
that can be an extra podcast extra.
Yeah.
Hating on Jordan Peterson. But anyway,
we could do a chat episode on that.
He also mentioned that Steve Bannon was a fan and like on tape mentions Julius Evola's teachings, who, if you're not familiar, is a literal scumbag, evil human being that wrote like 20 books on how men and the white race are superior, and he like backs all that shit up through occultism.
He literally said fascists aren't fascist enough for me. I think he called it. He was like, I'm a super fascist.
Yeah.
This dude is bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad boy.
And we can get into him in a little bit.
Not in a good way.
But he also was like, Steve Bannon agrees with Putin for standing for traditional values, and we all know what that's a dog whistle for. He also talked about Alexander Dugin, which is like an advisor to Putin, who also agrees with Evola, and he is like on Russian TV all the time talking about like far right ideas, but never directly mentioning his belief in the occult, which he does. And then finally, kind of in a fleeting way, he mentions that through all of this chaos magic that people like Richard Spencer are invoking and like 4chan, he literally talks about 4chan,
oh my God,
like inducing synchronicities into the world with their meme magic
inducing
and whatever.
Synchronicities.
Yeah, dude. Like he kept saying this. I was like,
I thought you said chaos magic. Wouldn't that be taking away synchronicities?
Thank you, dude. This guy like was so steeped in it.
See, this is how you pick out a grifter.
Yeah.
They're constantly contradicting themselves.
Yep. The last thing is that maybe he posited maybe this is a lot. The chaos magicians, the chaos magicians from Kekistan.
Oh.
Which created a tulpa which embodied itself in Trump, and the tulpa has run away from them, and they can't control it anymore because the chaos is too much.
So it created a tulpa, which embodied itself in okay, so is Trump a manifestation, or did Trump exist and then it entered him?
I think the second one. I don't know.
Trump
he wasn't
has literally
clear.
always been the same.
He wasn't clear. He's like, so before talking about this, he was like, a lot of what the right wing talks about, especially online, they're able to backpedal from by just saying that it's a joke. You know, oh, if you don't understand, then that's just a joke. You just didn't get the joke. But then after positing the theory that Trump is a tulpa, he's like, that's just a little joke I have. I'm like, bro, what did you just say?
This is a joke I have.
What did you just say?
Dude, I fucking love that. It's a meme at this point. I see it on Twitter all the time of like being like, you're far right, and just this crying guy like, I'm not far right, I'm just joking. I mean, like, but like, what meme. If like homogenous societies are kind of good, but I'm just joking, and it's like, you're far left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I don't know. He kept saying remarkable synchronicities
I am a socialist.
over and over, but he agrees we're living in a post-truth world. This guy was like a self-proclaimed centrist. He was like, I feel like we're just too far leaning in.
Dude.
Anyway.
Enlightened centrist. I just want to grill, baby. Anarcho-grillist over here.
He kept talking about like how there's so many things nowadays that are interrelated, and like without thinking about the dialectics of everything and what is true, he's like, these are just synchronicities that I find remarkable. I think that they're trying to point us to a larger like enlightening concept, basically. And I kind of want to go on a tangent right now, because just a year ago or actually 2 years ago, I used to work in a warehouse doing inventory for like an engineering aerospace company. And I had a coworker who was our age as well. And any chance he could get, he would like corner me and start talking about all of these Easter eggs in media. He called them Easter eggs and not synchronicities. I didn't know until like this year.
Globalist Easter eggs?
Yeah. Until like this year that's probably what he was mentioning, like all this 4chan and Reddit shit of like the chaos magicians inducing synchronicities with their symbols of like these Easter eggs. He was like, yeah, did you see this rap video? This thing from this totally unrelated thing popped up in it. I'm like, I don't know if that's valid, for one, and I don't know, two, if that even means anything. Like, he had no proof. He was like on all of these forums that like just piecemealed all of this weird ass tangentially related media together. And like said that it was all part of a bigger structure.
Doing that.
Yeah, he was like, it's all part of a bigger plan. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I hope he's not roped into it. His Twitter's like super into the stock market, so that tells you everything.
Ugh. Not to be also everything's connected, but I just reminded myself about a little thing I saw on the Wikipedia for the Thule Society. There's a little quote I wrote down about all of the German newspapers in Bavaria and whatnot.
Oh, okay. All right.
That said, quote, after 1933, esoteric organizations were suppressed, including folkish occultists. Many closed down by anti-Masonic legislation in 1935.
Okay.
Masonic.
Yeah.
Freemasons. We were going to do an episode on that. Why are all of our episodes connected?
But dude, also a lot of like these interconnected occult groups kind of influence each other, and one of these big groups was the Golden Dawn, or the Hermetic Association of the Golden Dawn, or whatever the fuck. And their 3 founders were all Freemasons.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
What was this thing? Also kind of like a secret society, the Asatru, like the Icelandic.
Oh yeah, I have something. Where the fuck did my thing go on that?
Yeah. Talk about the Asatru, and then I want to talk about more of Julius Evola a little bit, because he's steeped in Hermeticism and like really like started the engine for all of this occult shit during the Nazi regime.
I don't have notes, but I quoted an article about them. Let me go through it real quick and see if there's anything good.
Okay.
It was a neo-pagan group founded by the American heathen leader Stephen McNallen. I don't know what that means.
Oh, but, yeah, McNallen. Fuck.
I don't know if this pertains or is interesting at all, but this just had to do with whether they were accepting of other cultures or not. What my quote was quote, on the Asatru subreddit, yes, this exists. It's hard to reject modernity in all its forms because Asatru is like it rejects modernity.
Yeah, another
said alongside questions like how do you alongside questions like how do you make offerings to the gods, what types and how. There's a topic called do I have to be of European origin? A poster called Genghis 112, who self-describes as of Asian origin but very interested in Norse paganism. There we go, another of the fucking like Buddha was Nord thing. I don't know where this sentiment of Norse mythology comes from, but asks whether someone from an Asian background can connect with Norse deities. Most of the responses say yes, absolutely. Thor is the protector of all humanity, one poster writes. No, one group has a monopoly on any religion. Others disagree. Norse paganism is about honoring your ancestors, so no, look into your old ancestors' faith. An argument breaks out whether folkish pagans are inherently white separatists. What's wrong with that? Royd's question mark replies. I prefer to spend times with other Europeans. A few posts from there, and the posters are talking about whether someone who is 51% European can worship European gods. At what point is one's noble whiteness watered down to the point where the gods will ostensibly no longer treat with you? See, this is fucking hilarious to me, because even inside of, you know, hyper pagan, white supremacist, fascist groups, they can't even decide whether or not like they want to accept other people. They can't decide what whiteness means. They can't decide what race means. So you get all these fucking people saying race is real, and even their groups can't fucking agree on what the fuck does white mean. Like, what does Aryan
figure that
mean?
out.
Yeah, if it matters so much to you, like...
It's just like the thing where you always have to prove your superiority. That's like the
yes, it's a fucking superior. Yeah.
That's like the reason why people are so willing to accept the occultist traditions, the occultist ideals of the Aryan spirit being the most powerful, superior, whatever, what have you. So it goes both ways, basically. Like, if you have someone who's interested in magic and kind of sick of the ever-present eye or like mouth, I guess, of the media, you can rope them kind of into the other side of the occult, which is, you know, fascistic and right-leaning tendencies. And then if you have someone on the right, you can rope them into the other side, which is like the more magic shit, you know. And that's kind of how it goes hand in hand. It just seems like right-leaning people have like this toxic relationship with confirmation bias. Like
I would say humans do.
Yeah, that's true. So if you already believe something, even if it's not true, even if it's not provable, if there's something at all that has a structure around it that will confirm your already held beliefs, you're going to want to believe it even more. And
well, let me give some personal examples, if you don't mind, unless you let me let you finish.
No, go for
it. So I personally would consider myself fairly open-minded, not to toot my own horn. But my mentality has changed so often in my life, my beliefs and ideals and whatnot, because I feel like I'm more open to changing my ideas. But even I, feeling that way, can accept that I also was super into confirmation bias. So as Nate knows, to give a little context to my history, I was not political as a high schooler. My dad's conservative. He's currently a Trump supporter, unfortunately, but he's a conservative person. I kind of, just like I was raised to be Christian and never questioned it, and then kind of like once I figured out that I could question it, I just became an atheist because I didn't give a fuck. After high school, I realized that I didn't need to just think of things in terms of the way he talked about things. So I kind of was like, I guess I'm liberal. I guess I like Bernie. I guess I'm a Bernie supporter. I don't really know. And then very quickly, some friends of mine somehow convinced me to become a libertarian, and I mean the American libertarian.
Oh no, not saints. Not yet.
Yeah. Not yet. The right libertarian. And then I became a fucking anarcho-capitalist for a while. And
what does that mean, Will?
I would regularly right.
What is anarcho-capitalism?
I would regularly mean, can you even be an anarchist if you're a capitalist? No. But anyway, I called myself an ANCAP.
Solid.
And was very open to discussing, like talking and debating people who are either centrist, liberals, or even straight up socialists. And still considered myself open-minded, but I was still so into confirmation bias, and I was like watching all these fucking videos of people talking about this stuff. People like Thomas Sowell, which if you don't know who he is one of the best grifters because he comes across so intelligent and so understanding of economics, and then you stop agreeing with him and you're like, oh wait, no, you're actually really dumb. And you're talking about you're literally acting like economics 101 defines all of economics.
Dude, he's a CIA
it's really
plant
annoying. Yeah, right, exactly. So I would regularly go on like Mises fucking institute shit and fucking Cato Institute. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I would like read all of these things thinking I was being open-minded, and even me, and now I'm not an ANCAP, I'm a fucking socialist now, which is a funny transition. Like, I'm an actual socialist. But not a fucking watered-down liberal. Fuck liberals.
Fuck liberals! Fuck liberals!
That's in jest. If you're a liberal, I love you. But I went from ANCAP to socialist, and I'm still, like, it's so easy. Not to fucking rant too long about this, but it's so easy, even for people who consider themselves to be open-minded, to just find what they want and to kind of suppress the other side. Like, the thing that made me not an ANCAP anymore, which happened late 2019, so actually not even that long ago, only about a year ago. Yeah, was because I eventually at some point was like, yeah, man, it's kind of hard for me to justify privatized healthcare, because I kept, like, my instinct was to be like, no, everybody deserves it. People shouldn't fucking die. But my, like, brain that was like, nah, philosophy, man, like Puritan, like
it could never happen,
pure
bro.
in your philosophy. Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, you're not allowed to think that. You're not allowed to agree with that. And eventually I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was kind of like, all right, fine. Some government regulations are okay. Some government intervention is okay. And then that kind of like broke the back of the ANCAP, being an ANCAP. And then that slowly put me down the path of becoming more and more of a liberal. And then I was kind of like a liberal for like winter. And then this pandemic, man, holy shit, it radicalized me like a motherfucker.
Yeah, righteous. Hell yeah.
One of the podcasts Nate and I were originally thinking about doing was me and ANCAP and him a socialist talking.
We kind of missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, too bad. I mean, and not too bad because I'm not a piece of shit anymore.
I've only been left-leaning since, I don't know, maybe end of freshman year of college, so like early 2015. And like even then, I've only recently started to research it more and kind of learn more about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, even in leftist circles, confirmation bias is huge. Like we're always trapped in our own bubbles, and then we're always infighting with other bubbles, you know.
With other leftists. Well, yeah, we hype like leftism is so hyper tribalized within itself of like these little bubbles and everybody being like, you're not a real leftist.
Yeah.
It's so fucking annoying. But yeah, definitely even in leftist circles, like it's so easy to just surround yourself with people who agree with you. Like nobody wants, some people do. Nobody enjoys being antagonistic to other people, and it's really easy to do that today. So people surround themselves with people who aren't antagonistic.
Yeah, and we're not trying to apologize for people who like persecute others for their beliefs because, you know, of their confirmation biases. We're just trying to explain how it happens.
That we understand that it's kind of natural.
Yeah.
We should fight against it, but it kind of just happens.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention this real quick because I found a really good article that was comparing occult and paganism to alt-right thoughts and beliefs.
Are you talking about like the race theory, I guess, and like gender discrepancies? What is it?
Yeah, kind of stuff like that. Just traditionalist thought.
Yeah, traditionalist thought.
In these pagan communities.
The fucking dog whistle.
Yeah, right. It's as we said before, you can be progressive and a pagan. You can be centrist and a pagan. You can be a good person and a pagan. 100%. I know these people. However, there is an unfortunate like overlap in the mentalities that can possibly, and we have seen at least with some groups, lead into fascist thinking. This goes along with what we were talking about in the spirit science thing, where it's like, whoa, this is new agey. This is very, people would be offended if I called it pagan, but it's like, it's similar. Where it's kind of a rejection of science, but it's this hyper-traditionalism where you are rejecting modernity, a lot of the times you're rejecting the Enlightenment. You think we're too focused on empiricism, on science, on like knowing exactly what's happening. You think about a golden age almost of history where there was at some point people on this earth that knew a lot and were very spiritually enlightened and knew secrets of the universe and had great culture and knowledge, blah, 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 you know, where it's like, oh, the pagans of the past knew how to be closer to the earth or something like that. That's one lens to look at that through. Like I said, rejecting modernity, capitalism, contemporary culture. Yeah, even alt-righters reject capitalism, just like pagans. There's in and out groups. We are the ones practicing a correct magic. Others aren't.
Yeah.
We're doing it correctly. They're fucking it up.
More of that
doctrines
grifter
with specific
shit.
rules.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's grifting or an actual belief structure in whatever paganism you follow, it can be a thing, and it's often a thing. People, also naturally do that. Specific rules, you need to follow specific rules. You need to do things a certain way. Natural hierarchies, where it's like these people know more, so they're above, or gender roles, or you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do this, and that an ideal culture is being tainted, that there is a pure form of what we are trying, but it has been tainted by modernity, and we're trying to get back to that ideal form.
Right.
And it usually ties back to a specific ancient culture, whether it's Nordic, Celtic, Germanic, Mediterranean, African, Asian, North American, indigenous. Like, there is some idealized form in history to look back to.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all overlaps of a lot of occult / pagan / new age things with the alt-right. And it's really easy when you already accept this natural hierarchies and structures and rules and an idealized form, and we're doing it correctly. It's really easy to go from that to a slow transition into something like white supremacy if you happen to be a white European occultist who is idealizing, let's say, Nordic or Celtic or Germanic cultures.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Because your ideals are already in place.
Something that you already have the mindset, a very similar mindset. You pretty much just need to be, somebody needs to piss you off.
Yep.
And make you angry. And it's not often. Nobody's saying that this is something that's like a horrific fucking problem, but there is a lot of these issues. And I have heard anecdotal, stories of people talking about how a lot of new age influencers are real damn close to the Jewish question, and it's really weird. So something to keep in mind, I guess. And remember, we are idiots. We are not pagans. We are not occultists. We like it, but we don't
even know
practice
that much shit about this shit. We kind of just
like
we're dipping our
had
toesies.
General ideas. Exactly, we dip in our sweet little toesies in. So if we're wrong, please tell us.
Yeah, like we're not immune to making judgments, but like I think judging
we're human.
I think judging Julius Evola is pretty fair because this guy's fucking whack.
Okay, yeah. I think the main thing that might piss people off is us kind of saying that occult / pagan is similar to alt-right. That might make people mad.
Yeah, no. I think hopefully at the beginning we kind of cleared that up. But we're just saying that a lot of alt-right strategists, or not even strategists, but a strategy of people in the alt-right, because they also believe in, occultism, they use that as kind of a pathway.
Yes.
Gather in their little people. They take people in their people. They type Kek online, and then they make them members of Kekistan by showing them images of Pepe Le Frog.
They increase chaotic energy by bringing in new people.
Yeah. So okay, I don't know that much about Julius Evola, but I did read his Wikipedia. And whoever wrote this, props on him, because it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He was a big deal in the early 20th century for, all of these interweavings of spiritual superiority and magic, esotericism. Is that how you say that?
I think so.
Yeah, he was a big proponent of esotericism and writer about it, and he wrote like 20 books. And the fucking most frustrating thing, I don't want to talk about him too long, like I said, but he considers his early life unimportant. Like, aside from like painting and reading Nietzsche and
my God.
Otto Weininger,
the most misunderstood philosopher ever.
He discredits his in early life as not meaning anything, and I don't know, man. I want to know more. I want to know how he turned out evil, basically, because
I genuinely think these super fascists, these like hyper fascists, a part of me doesn't believe them. Ultra fascists,
self-claimed ultra.
A part of me, I don't believe them.
Yeah.
I think they're literally grifters.
I don't know,
like,
man.
I think
20 books.
People like Julius Evola, I really think, I don't know why I'm inclined to think this. They're so desperate for attention. They're so desperate for power. They're so desperate for all these things.
Yeah.
Maybe that does lead them to actually believe these things, but there's something so utterly insane about
It's
it.
because you're
that
an
I
empath.
Can't.
You're an optimist for the human condition.
I mean, I'm not an optimist. I think we're all gonna fucking die, but it's too insane. I don't believe this is a real person. Like, I can't.
Seriously, go read his Wikipedia at least. I just want to read you some titles of his books.
He also thought Buddhism was naturally anti-democratic.
Yeah. Dude, people just don't understand. People will take whatever they want from anything.
Granted,
and then just mold it.
You can interpret Buddhism however.
Let's see.
There are Buddhist terrorists.
The mystery of the Grail, initiation and magic and the quest for the spirit, myth of the blood, genesis of racialism, doctrine of awakening, the attainment of self-mastery according to the early Buddhist texts. And when he refers to the early Buddhist texts, he's talking about not actual early Buddhist texts. He's talking about the Pali Canon, which I'm pretty sure is like a Western interpretation of Buddhism that was like
lovely.
Not even 400 years old. It was like, you know how like the Bible is just an interpretation of the Dead Sea Scrolls? The Pali Canon is basically the same thing. It's like an interpretation of Siddhartha Gautama's like Buddhist teachings. So that's what he's referring to. What was the really fucked up gender one he wrote? He was like a weird sex man. Man is potency. He was
weird sex man.
Yeah, he was super sexist and was like, oh man,
tantric interdimensional sex meditations.
Yeah. No, what did he say? So there's a whole section on his Wikipedia about views on race, views on Jews, views on sex and gender roles. He said, the book he wrote was called Woman as Thing.
Oh my.
He regarded.
This is just 4chan.
Yeah.
This is just.
He regarded matriarchy and goddess religions as a symptom of decadence and preferred a hypermasculine warrior ethos. It was influenced by Otto Weininger's book Sex and Character, which cemented his dualism of male-female spirituality. He did not neglect sadomasochism so long as sadism and masochisms are magnifications of an elemental potentially present in the deepest essence of Eros.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, this man was fucked.
What was his? When did he live from to when?
He lived from 1898 to 1974. He was born in Rome and died in Rome.
I was about to say, so we can't blame psychedelics for this man's.
Oh no, he took psychedelics.
Insanity. Yeah, but not acid. Acid wasn't made yet.
Oh, that's true.
He only took shrooms, maybe DMT, but or ayahuasca.
Anyway, we could do a whole. I don't want to talk about this evil fucking guy anymore.
This evil fucker. Literally, he just sounds like 4chan incarnate.
Yeah.
Like that's.
He was also. The last fucking thing that we can relate to spirit science is the belief of the Thule Society. I think Evola also shared in the fact that the white race were descendants of the Hyperboreans, which were the giants that existed in Hyperborea.
Oh my god. The fucking 50 chromosome giants.
Yep. Last thing. Okay. And kind of to tie it all up, I kind of just wanted to ask you the question. I don't even know if this is true. This is just something that I noticed. But why is it that it seems like white men are the most susceptible people to right-wing thinking and occultism?
Sometimes the most systemically powerful are the most insecure about their power. That's like you don't really find this a whole lot, and most of the time if you find it with non-white people, it's still centered at the top of power structures.
Yep.
It's just like kings saying, I am designated by God to be powerful. When you have power, you're hyper paranoid and you're just fucking scared of losing it. So you grasp at anything that you can shove in other people's faces to define why you're the one in power. And also that I think goes for all through history. And then personally, as time goes on and we become more progressive in this world, and white people feel their power just slightly slipping from their grasp, even though they're still,
it's
systemically
that fear,
powerful.
yeah.
So they're scared. They're just like, oh no. And I don't think currently it's happening at the top of power structures.
Unfortunately,
I think right now it's happening at the lower ends of the white classes, like the white middle class and the white lower class.
Just like I'm saying, bro, it's a
because
fucking
I think
CIA
the upper
op.
class.
They're dividing the
Honestly,
lower class.
No, see, honestly, I am kind of convinced that it's because like the people at the top.
Yes, I'm convincing Will.
I mean, CIA or not, but like it really does feel like with everything we're seeing right now, people at the top grasping for straws, so they're trying to radicalize their base into being hyper fucking feral.
No,
for
I don't
them,
know
just
if the
like
CIA
Trump and
is
his
that
fucking
smart.
base. Like, oh no, the CIA is not that smart. They've done some bad shit, but they're not that smart. But right now, I think it is slightly different. Just like I said, I think it's different because power structures are slipping. We're becoming more democratic. We're becoming more socialist. We're becoming more broadening of power structures at the bottom of bases. At least we're trying, and I hope for the future. But that's why you get all these fucking right-wingers now who used to be libertarians and are now openly saying, no, I would love for Trump to be a dictator.
Ooh.
Or openly saying that monarchies are better for the people than democracies. I was a libertarian. I never fell into that.
Yeah.
I was always a libertarian trying to actually trying to find ways that my ideals could make the world better, which is why I left that ideology, because it didn't work.
Woo, victory.
Like I was an ANCAP that fucking hated the cops, fucking hated corporations, fucking hated all these people.
Yeah.
But I was around people and talked to people who were like literally, it's the meme of anarcho-capitalism is feudalism.
Yeah.
But these people embraced that. They embraced feudalism. They embraced monarchies. They embraced theocracies. They embraced dictatorships because they realized that. Yeah, they realized that and then went, but I would benefit from it, so I'm okay with that.
And there you have it, the slippery slope.
From somebody who scrambled their way up the hill and got off the slippery slope.
Yay.
Yeah.
You acquired the ice boots, the climbing boots with the spikes on the sides.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But yeah, which is basically what you could equate that to your friends who were leftists.
I don't know. This was just a big topic that we really liked, and we got angry about it. So
if you like us getting emotional,
it's less formal. Yeah. That's what I want to ask is, what's the best structure? What's a structure that feels good to listen to? Like, should we do more structured and scripted, or should we kind of just like have ideas, have some research so we can like talk about specific things and just rant about them?
Because
get angry.
I'm gonna be employed soon, which I haven't been. And that's gonna cut into my podcasting time drastically. So we might move to a once a month podcast instead, which I guess we're starting already right now with this one.
Kind of, yeah.
And also, having to research less and being a little more emotional and opinionated would take a lot of stress and pressure off and keep this fun for us. So we want it to be fun for you, but we also want it to be fun for us.
Yeah, we're open to changing our exact structure. The general idea is always going to stay the same. We ain't changing that. But another thing is, I was wondering is if anybody would listen to, not that we have that many listeners right now, to talk to, but we're thinking about doing these types of podcast episodes where it's Two Idiots Talk, where we have specific ideas, specific research about a specific topic, and then maybe do something more loose, even looser than this, where it's Two Idiots Chat, where we just record us, talking shit.
Yeah, probably with no research.
Talking about something. Either no research or very little, where we're just either complaining, honestly, or just talking about stuff and cracking jokes and maybe having a drink or two on a couple of them. But let us know what you think about that.
But anyway, thank you, idiots, for listening to Two Idiots Talk to You. And as always, I don't think we introduced ourselves in the beginning, but I'm Nate.
And I'm Will.
And have a good rest of your day.
We're Two Idiots signing off.
episode, which means you've unlocked the end of episode announcement.
All right. End of the episode. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for coming back and giving us your ears one more time.
We just wanted to shout out real quick that we are available on all streaming platforms, as far as I'm aware. Pretty sure all of them.
Yeah, there's not much that I didn't put it on. If there's something that exists where it's not on, that means I
Let
just
us
don't know
know.
about it.
And also, we have a dedicated Twitter for the podcast that we would love for you to follow. Get updates.
Yeah,
keep
if you follow us on Twitter, you'd be able to interact with us more easily and frequently than, just writing comments in the YouTube, because sometimes I don't see those.
Yeah, follow the Twitter if you want to interact with us for the podcast. Follow our individual Twitters if you want to see us complain about politics.
Yeah, and that will be, for me, at reincarnate with underscores between all of the letters of Nate, and I will link that.
Yeah, it's all in the description. Mine's at Summy William, Summy William.
And our conjoined podcast is 2TO idiots_talk.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.